There's a lot of different ways to interact. Mostly what we need to do is interacting across the ensemble. Digging with our ears to the lowest voice, sharing our common line, and then figuring out how to harmonize that voice. We're going to experiment a little bit with that. We usually use that our ears to the stage is not really well. Also, here's what I like. Everyone spread out that direction and flat. Spread out that way. And flat.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen of the audience, you remember what it sounded like before? Here's a new sound. You tell me if it's radically different, a little bit different, or not different at all. I'll ask you to applaud. I'll give you those three choices again. Radically different, sort of different, and not different. Applaud for whatever one you think when I give the choices to you. But we're gonna try this with this different setup.
Again, stopping.
Again, stopping.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, so not that different. Applaud if you think not that different. Sort of different. Radically different.
Yeah, hold on. After, I had to hear the other band.
I'm trying to sell this to Mr. Langford. I had to hear the other band, Mr. Langford, on stage and then back out there again. And I wandered around the audience while you were playing up here before, and I think you may like this better. It's going to sound bright when you're on stage, but out there it'll sound darker, I think. You tell me what you think, Mr. Band Director, sir. Here we are again, first 10 bars.
1, 2, and go.
Stages are weird things, especially at high schools. They're crafted for a variety of purposes. This one is obviously pretty heavy theater. I bet you guys do some great productions here, huh? Yeah. But for concert bands, the big issue is that our sound goes out the sides as well, because there's a lot of wing space up here that you guys probably can't see. And so a way of solving that is to flatten out the ensemble forward, spread it out side to side, and then bring your basses out here to the edge. To a band director, it freaks out our ears because we don't hear as much bass as we're used to, but I think it warms it up out towards the audience. Does that about sum it up, Mr. Langford, for what you just heard? Yep. Okay. So now we're going to work the next concept that I want to share with you guys, and that is digging for and finding how a primary line works with a lower line. And we're going to do that with the B-flats here. So please play for me. B-flat scale, half notes. Okay, now we're all really competing with each other for volume. So here's what I want to do. I want all brass players to just sustain a B-flat. Woodwinds. Right now, close your eyes. Your woodwind. All woodwinds. Close your eyes. Pick one brass instrument to listen for. And keep your ears on that the whole time as you play the B-flat scale in half notes. Everyone eyes open. Brass players, just sustain a nice B flat. Right, woodwinds, the first note, and find your brass player to listen to. Now, moving up the scale, you're going to move up the scale, and you're going to keep your ears on that brass player as you move up the scale. Brass, just continue to sustain. 1, 2, woodwinds. Right, up, keep your ears on the brass. Now, how many of you noticed that a lot of your individual notes, woodwinds, were out of tune against the brass drone, and then you had to quickly shape them into or out of tune? Yeah, some of them you're going to lower to the third note of the scale. You're going to play in tune fourth note of the scale. You're going to raise a little bit the fifth note of the scale. Pay attention to which way they go each time you adjust. Here we go, one more time. Same concept. 1, 2, 3. Go 5 notes. Ears on brass. Adjust the fifth quite a bit, didn't we? Okay, let's flip that. Woodwind, sustain, brass, we're going to move you on the scale. Same idea, and listen for a woodwind. Brass, pick a woodwind now. Pick a woodwind to listen for now. Woodwinds, play the note, sustain. I'm going to ask the brass player volunteer who you're listening for. Go. Alright, do I have any volunteers? Alright, who are you listening for? Basic contrabass. All right, right on. Here we go. Woodwind, sustaining, brass, work against that. 2, 3. We're going to go one step further. We're going to flip back to woodwinds moving across the scale. Now, this time, I want you to put your sound inside whatever brass player that you're listening for. So you're going to play your sound, you're going to picture your sound traveling specifically to that brass voice. All right, the reason a lot of times in band we do imagination exercises. Imagine, think it sharper, think it, your sound going here, think your part going there. The reason we do that is because we're all wired up inside. Organically, we're one complete being, right? Sometimes if we can think a thing, our body will find a way to make it happen. So all I want you to do is I want you imagining and picturing your sound playing at and traveling to the brass player that you're listening to. That sounds kind of strange. Try it. Again, your band director will tell us if there's any difference. Brass sustain, nice warm, rich, dark, B flat. The lower the pitch of the air, lower brass, the better the tone quality. Ready? Everybody set your notes, your brass players. Any difference, Mr. Langford?
Yeah.
Tangible, a little bit, a lot? Quite a bit. Okay, flip it, flip it. Brass players, send your sound to your favorite woodwind. 1, 2, 3. All we're doing through these mental exercises is we're simply homogenizing the sound. Yes? Make sense? Homogenization of the sound. That's going to create transparency for your audience. Let's go back to Western one step. And I want to pick out a line. Let's go with the low reeds. All low reeds. Western one step. All low reeds. Right at the beginning. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so your job is to hear them when we play at the beginning. Right, I put them on the spot. They're a little bit nervous, but they made some mistakes. But everybody's listening for that at the beginning. Let's see what it sounds like now. Here we are. Homogenization of sound, interaction of lines. 1, 2, go, and. Not autopilot, but actively listening. Only about 70% of you did. Actively listen for low reads. 1, 2, go, and. Now you should have noticed a big difference in the sound quality, yes? Yeah? Okay, it's probably a little bit darker out there for the audience as well. Let's go to something else. Let's go to something else. Go to pageant for me, please. So everybody say the word active line. Say the word passive line. Okay, look up here at me for just a second. Make eye contact with everybody. That simple exercise with the scale. I created an active line and a passive line. And I had the active line play their part as though to the passive line. Each time. Once it was brass, the wood wins. The other time it was wood wins the brass. Does that make sense? Okay, in the next 8 days of working on these pieces, you guys are going to have to find, when you have the active line, when you have the primary role, you're going to have to find where your sound needs to go in order to interact. It's like, have you ever heard a pop group where the singer's turned up way too loud and you can't hear the rhythm section? How many of you have ever experienced that before? Yeah. Or you've heard the opposite, where the singer's way too quiet and the rhythm section's way too loud. Same kind of thing, right? You guys have to interact more across your parts. And that's going to be, just like I said to the other group, that's going to be your big thing over the next 8 days, is to find how your part interacts with somebody else's. Because as I was listening out there, I heard a lot of really strong individual players, but those individual players were outplaying everybody else instead of figuring out how their line interacts with the accompanying lines underneath it. How do you guys think this is making a little bit of sense? Okay, so we're going to start pageant, and I want you to think, no, we're not going to start, we're going to jump ahead to where more people are playing. Well, give me a letter, I'm not familiar with this piece. 10, all right, we'll go to 10. Let's go to 11. 11. About this speed. 11. 1, 2, 11. 10. Shared that line with the first cornet, and then it was muted. Listen. Do you guys play by yourself? Ready? Go. So on the active line, find the lowest voice and play into that. You guys again. 2, go. Right, that's the correct idea. Find the lowest voice. Everybody who didn't play, now play at 11. And you guys that just played, take a break. 11, 2, go. So, who's the lowest voice on these lines? Everybody point at the lowest clarinet. Yeah. Can you play by yourself? Do you feel comfortable playing by yourself for 3 notes? Okay, go.